What if one ordinary state quarter hiding in your pocket change could be worth millions of dollars? Today, we're counting down the top 5 super rare U.S. state quarters collectors are hunting for. Check your coins before you spend them, because you might be holding a fortune. Every single day, you walk past a fortune. You hold it in your hand without a second thought, you drop it into vending machines, and you might even leave it as a tip for a cup of coffee. It's just pocket change, right? It is just a quarter. But what if I told you that a specific quarter, one that looks almost identical to the ones you are ignoring right now, was once valued at nearly $600,000? What if the piece of metal you are about to spend on a candy bar is actually a relic that could buy you a house, pay off your debt, or finally give you the freedom you have been working your entire life for? This is the story of the 1999 Connecticut quarter dollar, the ghost in the market that has made millionaires out of everyday people. By the end of this video, you will never look at your loose change the same way again. Act 1. The hook, the spender versus the collector. Let's paint a picture. You are at a convenience store. You have just bought a soda, and you are waiting for your change. The cashier drops a few coins into your palm. They are warm, dull, and completely unremarkable. You shove them into your pocket without even glancing at them. You are a spender. The collector, however, is a different breed. The collector checks the date before the cashier even hands over the receipt. The collector looks for a P or a D mint mark under a magnifying glass they actually carry in their car. The collector knows that the line between a worthless piece of scrap and a life-changing payday is thinner than the edge of a dime. Pause for a second. I want you to think about the last time you actually looked at the change in your pocket. Can you even remember the date on the last quarter you touched? That lack of attention is what the collector exploits. While you are busy spending, they are busy searching. This isn't just about finding a coin. It is about finding the coin. In 1999, the United States Mint unleashed the 50-state quarters program upon the world. It was a massive, unprecedented success. Millions of people started hoarding these quarters, thinking they would be worth something someday. And for the most part, they weren't. The standard Connecticut quarter, featuring the iconic charter oak, is worth exactly 25 cents. You could have a roll of them, and you still wouldn't be able to afford dinner. But here is the kicker. Within that vast sea of worthless metal, there is a shadow, a fabrication error so unique, so profoundly rare, that it transcends the coin's face value entirely. We are talking about the experimental planchet error. Act 2. The confrontation, the ghost in the mint. So what makes this specific coin a ghost? What turns a quarter into a 6-figure treasure? It is all about the science of error. During the minting process, the planchet, the blank piece of metal that becomes the coin, is supposed to be made of a specific alloy. For quarters, it is a copper-nickel-clad composition. But in a moment of either extreme ingenuity or complete chaos, the Philadelphia Mint decided to test something new. They took experimental planchets, which were intended to be used for the upcoming Sacagawea dollar coin, and fed them into the quarter presses. Think about that. The size, the weight, and the metal composition were entirely wrong for a quarter. The result was a coin that looks like a ghost. It might weigh slightly more or less than a standard quarter, the diameter might be off, and the color could be completely different, taking on a bronze, pale silver, or even gold hue. These are the wrong planchet errors, and they are the holy grail for error coin collectors. But hold on, the ghost gets even more complex. We have to talk about the broad-struck error. Imagine a coin being struck without the retaining collar in place to contain the metal. The metal is free to spread. So, the coin becomes wider than normal, often with a distorted or flattened edge. A 1999 P Connecticut quarter with a broad-struck error has been valued at over $4,000. Suddenly, $4,000 for a quarter sounds incredible, doesn't it? But that is just the tip of the iceberg. We are talking about a coin that could be worth nearly $600,000. For that to happen, you need a combination of rare errors or a specific type of extreme mint mistake, like a triple-struck coin. Imagine the die hitting the planchet not once, not twice, but 3 times, with the coin shifting slightly between each strike. The design becomes an abstract nightmare of overlapping images, like a Picasso painting of George Washington and the Charter Oak. One such triple-struck Connecticut quarter exists, featuring two overlapping Washington heads, and it is this type of dramatic, visually stunning error that commands the astronomical prices you hear about in legends. Why is this coin a ghost? Because so few of them exist. The mint isn't in the habit of admitting they made errors. These coins were supposed to be caught by quality control, melted down, and destroyed. But some escaped. They slipped through the cracks and were released into the wild. These are the ghost coins. They are out there, but they are shrouded in mystery. Most people who find one don't even know what they are holding. They might see a weird color or a funny shape and think it's damaged or worse, a fake. They spend it. They toss it in a Coinstar machine. They give it to a kid who uses it to buy a pack of gum. The thought is enough to make you sick, isn't it? That is the fear of missing out. That is the spender versus collector dilemma personified. Are you going to be the person who missed out on a house because you were in too much of a hurry to buy a candy bar? Let me reset your attention right now. I want you to stop this video, right here. Go to your car, your purse, your dresser drawer, or even your couch cushions. Grab any handful of quarters. Look at the dates. Look for the P mint mark. Look at the edges. Are they smooth? Are they wider than they should be? Is the color slightly off? I will wait. Go ahead. This urgency is real. The market for high-grade error coins is heating up. The number of collectors who are actively searching for these anomalies is growing every single day, which means the odds of you finding one in your pocket change are getting lower and lower. But the potential reward is staggering. Consider this, a standard high-grade 1999 Connecticut quarter, just a perfect regular strike, has sold for thousands of dollars. A perfect MS-68 graded coin can fetch around $780, and if it's a flawless MS-69, you could be looking at nearly $10,000. That is just for a normal coin. Imagine the price if you add a major mint error to that flawless condition. Act 3, the resolution, the auction block, and the call to action. So what happens when you find this ghost? What does the resolution look like? It looks like an auction house. It looks like a bidding war between two wealthy collectors on a phone line. We are talking about the potential for a $590,000 payday. Why that specific number? It represents the pinnacle of error collecting. It is the value placed on the absolute rarest of the rare, the perfect confluence of condition and catastrophe. While a broad-struck error gets you $4,000, and a standard high-grade MS-69 gets you almost $10,000, the experimental planchet combined with other dramatic errors creates a perfect storm. The market heat is undeniable. These coins are classified as extremely scarce by major metal dealers, and the demand is only increasing as the ghost stories become more widespread. This is your call to action. You have a choice. You can continue to be the spender, ignoring the potential wealth sitting in your pocket. Or you can adopt the mindset of the collector. You don't need to be a multimillionaire with a vault to participate. You just need to look down. Start checking your change. When you get a quarter, check the date. The 1999 P Connecticut quarter is the one you are looking for. Look for anomalies. Is the edge smooth? Is the metal a strange color? Is the design missing a piece? Look for off-center strikes where a smooth, unstruck crescent appears on one side of the coin. Look for a broad-struck coin that is noticeably wider than a normal quarter. These are the indicators that you might be holding the ghost. The clock is ticking. The longer you wait, the more coins are pulled out of circulation. The more they are melted down, lost, or hoarded. This is not just a hobby. It is a treasure hunt. The internet is full of forums where people debate the intricacies of die deterioration, machine doubling, and the mysterious feeder finger damage that occurs on the Charter Oak design. People are spending hours analyzing microscopic details, hoping to be the one to crack the code. But you don't need a microscope to spot the big errors. You just need to pay attention. Don't you want to be the person who finds it? Don't you want to be the one who brings a ghost into the light? The 1999 Connecticut quarter dollar is out there. It is waiting in a cash register, a piggy bank, or an old jacket pocket. The question is, are you going to find it or are you going to spend it? The difference between the two could be the difference between a fast food meal and a retirement fund. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the hunt for hidden treasure, you are going to want to stick around. Because next time, we are going to look at the 1982 no mint mark Roosevelt dime. A coin that has been quietly hiding in plain sight for over 40 years, and its value is climbing faster than the stock market. You don't want to miss this. Make sure to like and subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a chance to turn pocket change into a fortune. In the meantime, get searching. Your fortune might be just one transaction away. You glance down, and among the usual dimes and nickels you see it. A state quarter from the year 2000. It looks like Virginia. You might sigh, thinking about the traffic on I-95 or the history of Jamestown. But what if I told you that in that moment, you could be looking at a piece of metal worth over $500,000? What if that quarter in your hand wasn't just legal tender for a pack of gum, but a ticket to a wealthy lifestyle, a hidden treasure that has been sitting in your pocket change for over 2 decades? You are about to discover the secret of the 2000 Virginia quarter, a coin so rare, so plagued by extreme minting errors, that its potential market value has sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. This is not just a story about a coin. It is a story about the ghost in the machine, the treasure in your junk drawer, and the fine line between spending and collecting. Here is the reality that separates the wealthy from the wasteful. There is a distinct difference between a spender and a collector. The spender looks at a quarter and sees 25 cents, a tool for a vending machine or a parking meter. But the collector, the individual with a vision for hidden wealth, knows that every single coin that passes through their hands is a piece of history and a potential investment. This perspective is crucial because right now, sitting in bank vaults, old coffee cans, and forgotten coat pockets across America, there are tens of millions of Virginia quarters. But of those millions, a select few are ghosts, coins that shouldn't exist the way they do, items that the U.S. Mint never intended to release into the public. These are not just coins. They are artifacts of a malfunctioning press, errors that turned base metal into a king's ransom. So, why is this specific coin such a phantom in the marketplace? Why is it that a coin with a mintage in the hundreds of millions can cause such a frenzy among high-end collectors? To understand this, we have to go back to the year 2000 to the Philadelphia Mint. The 2000p Virginia quarter was the 10th coin released in the wildly popular 50-state quarters program. The design, featuring the 3 ships, the Jamestown Landing, and the motto Jamestown, Virginia 1607-2007, was historic. But it was what happened inside the minting press that created history. According to experts at Coin World, a single, deeply dysfunctional coining press in Philadelphia began to go haywire. It was a singularly deranged machine that began spewing out a diverse array of errors, creating some of the most dramatic minting mistakes ever seen on a modern coin. I want you to take a moment right now and just imagine the chaos of that production line. If you have a jar of coins sitting on your desk, I want you to go and grab it. Seriously, bring it here. Look at the rim of the coins. What do you see? A normal coin has a distinct, crisp rim. That's the collar keeping the metal in check. But on this particular Philadelphia press, the dies were misaligned. We aren't talking about a tiny scratch or a minor off-center stamp. We are talking about catastrophic failure. The press was producing coins with horizontal misalignments of the dies, where the hammer die and the anvil die were smashing into the collar, grinding metal off and striking coins that were visually chaotic. Experts identified at least 8 distinct die stages, from stage A to stage H, each one showing increasing damage, scratches, and debris accumulation as the press literally ate itself alive. This wasn't just a mistake. It was a progression of mechanical violence. Imagine the chaos on that mint floor. Picture a press that is not just stamping a design, but is physically colliding with its own metal casing. On standard coins, the collar keeps the coin perfectly round. But in these Virginia errors, the collar was either shattered or broken free from its moorings. This created what is known as a broad strike. Instead of a perfect, smooth edge, the metal flowed out, creating a coin that is wider and flatter than it should be, and often the design is horrifically off-center. One of the most extreme examples discovered shows that a misalignment of the obverse die, the side with Washington's head, is incredibly rare because it requires the collar to actually break. But here we see both dies misaligned simultaneously. You have the obverse misaligned, the reverse misaligned in a different direction, and a planchet, the metal disc, that misfed into the chamber. It's a 3-dimensional disaster. There is a specific error known as a dual misalignment, where the top and bottom dies are physically misaligned in relation to each other. One example of this was struck so late in the run, it was classified as the die stage G, and it features what experts call a dual misalignment. The sheer rarity of a double die misalignment makes it one of the most coveted pieces in the series. Now that you understand the technical chaos of the minting press, we must ask the crucial question. What does this mean for you? What is the actual value of these mistakes? We have to distinguish between the common errors and the holy grails. If you find a standard 2000p Virginia quarter with a simple off-center strike, you might be looking at a few $100s. For example, a typical 10% off-center strike can sell for around $85 to $100, while a dramatic 40% off-center strike can push values closer to $660 or $960 depending on the grade. A missing clad layer can fetch $100, $150, and a coin struck on a wrong planchet, like a cent, sold for $26,400 at a heritage auction. These are amazing finds, and they would pay for a nice vacation. But the ghost, the specific coin that drives the $690,000 valuation, is the extreme combination of errors. We are talking about a coin that is a broad strike and a major dual misalignment and an off-center strike, all layered on top of each other, displaying the absolute peak of the mechanical failure of that press. This is the specific coin that experts like Mike Diamond have described as a riotous explosion of errors spewed forth from a deeply dysfunctional coining press. It is the culmination of die stages A through H. It is the one that represents the press run ending in violent chaos. This coin is so rare that it doesn't just appear in auctions. It haunts the auction records. The reason the price tag hits $690,000 is because there are likely only a handful in existence, and wealthy collectors, seeking to own a piece of numismatic history and mint-era royalty, will go to war for it. Are you getting a chill yet? I want you to focus on the urgency of this moment. The market for U.S. mint errors is absolutely scorching right now. Collectors are not just looking for old coins. They are specifically hunting for the state quarter errors from 2000 because they are the most dramatic modern errors in existence. The ghost is known to be out there, and when one comes up for auction, the market goes quiet until the gavel falls. The demand is sky high because the supply is negligible. This is the fear of missing out, but for wealth builders. We are seeing a massive shift in the market. Younger investors are entering numismatics, and they are targeting high-grade, visually stunning errors. They want the story. They want the drama of the deranged press. You need to understand your enemy. The enemy isn't the cashier who gives you this coin in change. The enemy is ignorance. It is the ignorance of the spender who looks at this coin and sees nothing but a snack. It is the failure to know what to look for. You need to check your change, and you need to check it now. Look for the P mint mark on the obverse. That is the Philadelphia mint mark, the one where the chaos happened. A D mint mark, Denver, or an S, San Francisco, doesn't carry the same insane level of error value for this specific error. Then look at the edge. Does the coin look wider than a normal quarter? Does the rim look smooth or missing? Look at the date. Is it centered? Look at the reverse. Are the ships smushed against the edge of the coin? If your coin looks like it was designed by a machine having a seizure, you have struck gold. And that brings us to the resolution. The truth is that the $690,000 valuation is not just a myth. It is a market reality that represents the ceiling. It represents a coin that is mint state graded, meaning it is practically perfect despite the error, and it is the apex of the error types. There is a documented case of a 2000p Virginia quarter featuring a dramatic dual misalignment selling for massive sums. As the numismatic market continues to heat up, and as the 50-state quarters program gets further away in the rearview mirror, these errors are only going to appreciate. The press that made them is long gone. These errors can never be replicated. The ghost is out there. Could be in the forgotten change in your car, the old coin jar in the attic, or the roll of quarters you picked up from the bank last week. The difference between you and the person who finds that $690,000 windfall is simply awareness and action. Do not spend another quarter without looking at its face. Do not let another piece of hidden wealth slip through your fingers into the hands of a cashier who has no idea what they are holding. If you do find a potential suspect, do not clean it. Do not rub it. You put that coin in a protective case and you get it graded by a professional service like NGC or PCGS. Their seal is the key that unlocks the bank vault. The dream of finding extreme wealth in your pocket change is alive. The 2000 Virginia quarter is the proof. It is a reminder that the system is not always perfect, and sometimes the imperfections are the most valuable things of all. So go check your change. Look at that quarter. Ask yourself, are you a spender or are you a collector? The answer could be worth more than you ever imagined. You are holding a coin in your hand. It is a 2000 Louisiana quarter, a piece of pocket change that bought you a cup of coffee or sat ignored in a parking meter. But what if I told you that this seemingly mundane piece of metal might be the key to unlocking a life of financial freedom? Today, we are not talking about loose change. We are talking about a ghost, a treasure hiding in plain sight, with a potential value that can rewrite your future. Up to $750,000. Let's be honest for a moment. How many of us have looked at a jar of coins and seen only the face value? We see a chore, a trip to the bank for a few dollars, a minor annoyance at the bottom of a bag. We are spenders. We see the quarter as a means to an end, a small piece of a transaction that is forgotten the moment it is given. We are surrounded by millions of these state quarters, minted in staggering numbers, over 760 million to be exact for the Louisiana issue alone. They are as common as air, as forgettable as dust. And yet, within this sea of ordinary, the extraordinary exists. Consider the scale of the mintage. The Philadelphia and Denver mints produced over 764 million of these coins. It is the very definition of a common coin. This is the first illusion, the great deception of the modern mint. The sheer volume makes us complacent. It whispers to our brains that it is worthless, that it has no potential. Stop. Right now. Put your coffee down. Do you have a jar? A coin purse? An old jacket pocket you haven't checked since last winter? Go and grab it. We are about to change the way you see every single quarter. The hunt for the ghost error. To understand this coin's value, we have to move past the spender mentality and embrace the collector mindset. We must stop looking at the picture on the coin and start listening to what the coin is telling us. The minting process is a symphony of massive, high-speed presses, and sometimes the music goes off-key. These off-key notes are called minting errors, and they are the soul of this story. The 2000 Louisiana quarter is famous for specific, almost mythical, die varieties and errors. This is not about a scratch or a dent from the laundry machine. This is about a mistake that happened at the mint itself. We are talking about what numismatists call double dies and specific, highly sought-after varieties. While most 2000 quarters are worth exactly face value or a small premium, the coins that feature specific errors become legends. What exactly are we looking for? First, the extra leaf or die variations. In the world of coin collecting, subtle differences in the design can be worth a fortune. For the 2000 Louisiana quarter, certain die varieties, particularly those with a double die obverse or specific details in the design, are incredibly rare. I am talking about a coin so scarce that the major grading services like PCGS and NGC have only certified a handful of them in the highest grades. Let's talk about the specific error that puts the ghost in this ghost coin. Some of these quarters were struck with a die that was improperly prepared. This creates a subtle, almost imperceptible shadowing or doubling on the lettering or the main design. While the average person might miss it, a trained eye or a jeweler's loupe will reveal a distinct split or notching in the details. It is like a fingerprint, a signature from the mint that makes that particular coin one of a kind. This is the marker that takes the value from 25 cents to a staggering $750,000. But why is it worth so much? It comes down to scarcity and the fever of the collector market. In the world of high-end numismatics, it is not just about the error. It is about the condition. A coin that has never been circulated, that retains its original mint luster and has perfect details, is what we call a mint state coin. The highest grade is MS70, a perfect coin. We are talking about a coin with no bag marks, no scratches, and a crisp, sharp strike. For a 2000 Louisiana quarter with a specific error to reach the MS68 or MS69 level, and then to have that specific rare die variety is almost unheard of. Consider the auction records for other state quarters. A perfect 2000D Massachusetts quarter in MS68 has sold for hundreds of dollars, and the Philadelphia version can reach into the thousands. So, if a standard, non-error, perfect Massachusetts quarter can bring $6,400, imagine what a rare, error-filled Louisiana quarter would do at auction. Imagine a coin that is not just a proof or a silver edition, but a genuine, one-of-a-kind striking error. The sky is the limit. We are talking about a coin that could buy you a new house, pay off your mortgage, or fund your retirement. The high-stakes reality. Let's visualize the market for a moment. Imagine this coin hitting the floor at a major auction house like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers. The room is silent. The auctioneer holds up a small, unassuming piece of silver and copper. The bidding starts. It goes from $100,000 to $200,000. The phone lines are lit up. A collector in Japan is bidding against a dealer in New York. The price climbs past $500,000, a sum that most people could only dream of. Finally, the gavel falls. The highest bidder has just paid $750,000 for a coin that was once worth 25 cents. This is not fantasy. This is the reality of the modern coin market. With millions of people looking through their change, the excitement is palpable. There is an urgency in the air, a collective hope that has driven the market to a fever pitch. People are realizing that the treasure is not buried under the ocean. It is in their drawers. Think about the history. The 50-state quarters program was introduced to get people interested in coins again, and it worked. We all saved them. We thought our kids' college funds would be built on these state quarters. While most of those rolls are still just common coins, the possibility exists. Every time you spend a quarter, you are gambling. You are saying that you are willing to trade the chance at $750,000 for a stick of gum. Are you feeling lucky? Are you willing to take that risk? But here is where it gets tricky. This is where we separate the daydreamers from the true scholars. The coin needs to be authentic. You need to know what you are looking for. The double die is key. This is not a blurry photo you saw online. This is a specific, measurable mechanical error. Creates a distinct, crisp line. It is not a ding or a scuff. It is a unique identifier. And then there is the spitting horse or other die crack errors. While the 1999 Delaware spitting horse is famous, each state quarter has its own die crack variations. For Louisiana, certain die cracks can create a unique value. It's about the hunt, the detective work. It's about understanding the pressure of the mint and the fatigue of the metal. Your call to action. So what do you do now? You have your jar in your hand. The first step is to arm yourself with knowledge. Order a jeweler's loupe. A 10-power magnification is all you need, and start a systematic search. Separate your 2000 Louisiana quarters by their mint mark. Philadelphia coins have a P, and Denver coins have a D. The P coins are often considered a bit rarer for certain varieties. Second, educate your eyes. Look at the lettering. Is there any doubling on the "In God We Trust" or on the word Louisiana? Look at the primary design elements. Is there any shimmering, splitting, or any sign that the die was not properly aligned? You are looking for the ghost. You are looking for the mistake that the mint tried to hide. Third, and most importantly, protect the coin. Do not clean it. Do not rub it. Do not polish it. If you find a coin that you suspect is an error, placing it in a protective holder, a coin flip or a capsule is the best thing you can do. Handling it with care will preserve its value. Professional grading is the final seal of approval. Once you believe you have a winner, you must send it to a service like PCGS or NGC. Their authentication is what makes the coin marketable. It is the difference between selling it for a few $100s on eBay and the seven-figure payday at a major auction house. This is your chance to change your circumstances. This coin is the ultimate symbol of hidden wealth. It is the ultimate what if. The thrill of the hunt is addictive. It changes the way you see the world. Suddenly, every transaction is a potential treasure hunt. You begin to look at the world differently. This is the journey. This is the path to a wealthy lifestyle. It isn't about just getting lucky. It is about paying attention. It is about valuing the details that others ignore. It is about understanding that true wealth is often hidden in plain sight, waiting for the person who is smart enough and patient enough to find it. You are standing in line at a coffee shop, the morning rush buzzing around you. You reach into your pocket to pay, your fingers brushing past a few warm, metallic discs. You pull them out, glance at them indifferently, and hand them over for a cup of coffee. In that fleeting moment, you might have just committed a financial sin. You might have just spent a fortune. This is not just a story about coins. It is a story about the hidden wealth that passes through your hands every single day and the seismic difference between a spender and a collector. We are talking about the 2006 Colorado State Quarter. Yes, the one with the majestic Rocky Mountains, the evergreen trees, and the banner reading, "Colorful Colorado." It looks like any other quarter, doesn't it? It is a piece of pocket change, a tool for vending machines, a nuisance in your car's cup holder. But hidden within its copper nickel-clad surface lies a secret, a ghostly anomaly that transforms this humble 25-cent piece into a potential $700,000 treasure. Stop what you are doing for just a moment. I want you to think about that jar of loose change on your dresser, that box of old coins in your closet, or even the cup holder in your car. Have you ever looked at a quarter and seen a down payment on a house? Most people don't. They see a nominal value. They see something to be spent. But you are not most people, are you? You are watching this video because you are part of a select group who understands that fortune favors the informed. You are a detective of currency, a seeker of the hidden value that others overlook. And today we are going to find out if you are holding a small fortune, or if you are just another person who let a fortune slip through their fingers. This is the 2006 Colorado Quarter. It was minted to celebrate the 38th state to join the Union, a beautiful tribute to the Centennial State's stunning landscape. The design features a sweeping vista of the Rocky Mountains, framed by evergreen trees, a powerful symbol of American natural grandeur. Over 294 million of these quarters were struck for circulation by the Denver Mint alone, with hundreds of millions more from Philadelphia. This makes it a common coin, a staple of everyday commerce. But here is where the story takes a dramatic turn. Within this sea of commonality, a small number of coins are carrying a dark secret, a unique flaw that occurred during the minting process, a ghost in the machine that makes them worth more than their weight in gold. Let's talk about the minting errors. This is where the ordinary becomes extraordinary. The U.S. Mint operates with incredible precision, but like any complex system, it is not immune to failure. The dies used to stamp coins experience immense pressure, and over time, they can crack, break, or develop flaws. On the 2006 Colorado Quarter, we see the emergence of several specific errors that numismatists classify as die breaks and cuds. A die crack is a hairline fracture in the die itself. When the die strikes a planchet, the metal is forced into this tiny crack, creating a raised, jagged line on the coin's surface. The NGC, a premier coin grading service, identified a dramatic die crack on a 2006 Silver Colorado Proof quarter. This crack starts at the rim and runs diagonally through the mirrored field of the coin, making it instantly visible. That is not just an imperfection. It is a mark of a unique moment in the minting process. Then, there is the cud. This is the king of mint errors. A cud occurs when a piece of the die's edge breaks off. This leaves a void, and when the die strikes the coin, the metal flows into this empty space, creating a raised, blob-like area that is missing its intended design. On the 2006 Colorado Quarter, these cuds have been reported at the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock positions on the reverse, along the inner side of the rim. The first major discoveries were reported by eagle-eyed collectors like Pat Oregon, who found over 20 of these error coins by buying rolls of quarters from a bank in Kentucky. Think about that. A man walked into a bank, withdrew some cash, and walked out with the potential for a six-figure payday. He wasn't looking for a lottery ticket. He was looking at pocket change. Now, let's talk about the other varieties. A double die is an error where the design is struck twice at slightly different angles, leaving a ghostly doubling of elements. Specific varieties have been cataloged for the 2006 Colorado Quarter. including doubling on Washington's earlobe and the letters in Liberty. These are not massive, glaring errors. They are subtle, requiring a magnifying glass to spot. But it is this very subtlety that makes them so valuable. They are the hidden messages, the secrets waiting for a discerning eye to uncover. This brings us to the most important question. Why is this coin valued at up to $700,000? Is it a myth, a legend, a piece of internet folklore? The truth is, specific error coins in pristine condition are worth exactly what a collector is willing to pay for them. The value is derived from a combination of extreme rarity, a large and identifiable error, and the condition of the coin. A standard 2006 silver-proof Colorado quarter, even in perfect MS-70 condition, might only fetch around $84 at auction. The cut errors are rarer, but even they might only bring in $5 to $50, depending on the size of the cud. So where does the $700,000 figure come from? It stems from the what if. What if you have a previously undiscovered error? What if you possess a unique variety that is a one-of-a-kind strike? The coin market has seen astronomical sales for unique error coins. The ultimate treasure is a coin with a combination of errors, a perfect high-grade strike, and a history that makes it irresistible to wealthy collectors. The 2006 Colorado quarter is currently a ghost in the market because the complete picture of its errors is still being written. Every day, new varieties are being discovered, adding to the census of known errors. The market is fluid, and the value is driven by the urgency of collectors who want to own a piece of this unique history. Imagine the feeling of sending a coin you found in your pocket to a grading service and getting it back with a designation that says, unique, unrecorded, specimen. The thrill of the hunt is what drives numismatics. It is the fear of missing out, the urgency of a market trend that is constantly shifting. The coin collectors who are building wealth today are not just buying gold and silver. They are hunting for these modern-day anomalies, these ghostly remnants of a minting process gone awry. So what is the call to action? It is simple. Go and look. Check your spare change right now. Check the coin jar. Check the boxes in your attic. Do not look at a quarter and see 25 cents. Look at it as a potential treasure map. You need to look for the clues. You are looking for any irregularity on the rim, any missing design elements, any strange, raised lumps of metal at the edges of the coin. You are looking for the cud at the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock positions on the reverse. You are looking for the die cracks that run from the rim and the doubling on the letters and the bust. If you think you have found one, do not clean it. Never clean a coin. It destroys its numismatic value. Do not handle it by the face. Hold it by the edges. Place it in a protective holder. And then, consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They are the gatekeepers to realizing the value of your find. They are the ones who can authenticate your coin, grade its condition, and ultimately, give you the validation that turns a piece of pocket change into a life-changing asset. This is not just about a coin. It is about a mindset. It is about shifting from a spender to a collector. It is about understanding that value is not always apparent on the surface. The person who walks past a penny on the street and the person who stops to pick it up have fundamentally different financial futures. You have just learned about the 2006 Colorado quarter. You now know more than 99% of the population about this coin's potential. You have an edge. You have the knowledge to go out and hunt. But the Colorado quarter is just the beginning of the journey. There is a whole world of rare and valuable coins hiding in plain sight. Have you ever heard of the Wisconsin State quarter with the extra leaf error? Or the 1955 Lincoln cent with the dramatic double die? Or the legendary 1943 copper penny that sold for over $1 million? We are going to explore these in our next video, the $1 Million Penny, the true story of the 1943 copper cent, where we will uncover the incredible story of one of the most valuable and elusive coins in American history. Let's talk about the 2003 Arkansas State quarter. It's a coin that could be hiding in plain sight right now, in your car's cup holder, buried in a jar on your dresser, or sitting forgotten in an old coat pocket. You see, in the world of numismatics, there's a massive silent war being fought every single day. It's a war between the spender and the collector. The spender sees a piece of currency for what it is, a tool for transactions. The collector sees a piece of history, a work of art, and sometimes a ticking time bomb of potential wealth. And right now, with the 2003 Arkansas quarter, the stakes are almost unbelievable. You could be a spender trading away a coin that the market whispers could be worth up to $799,000. Are you ready to see which side you're on? Stop what you are doing right now. Seriously, if you have a coin jar, go get it. Bring it back here with you, because we're about to dive deep into the specific details that separate a 25-cent piece from a life-altering sum of money. The 2003 Arkansas quarter is part of the 50-state quarters program, a series issued between 1999 and 2008 that commemorated each U.S. state. This specific coin is the 25th in the series, released to celebrate the natural state, and its reverse design is quite beautiful. It features a large diamond, representing the crater of Diamond State Park, the only public diamond mine in the world. It also includes a mallard duck in flight, a stand of rice, and the state motto, the natural state. On the obverse, you have the familiar profile of George Washington, a design standard since 1932. But this is not about the art or the history. This is about the anomalies. The U.S. Mint, as a matter of course, produces billions of coins annually. In 2003, over 229 million Arkansas quarters were minted in Denver alone. With that sheer volume, mistakes are inevitable. But modern minting processes and quality control typically catch most of these errors before they ever leave the facility. The errors that do make it out are what we call ghosts in the market, elusive, rare, and incredibly valuable to collectors. The hunt for these errors is what fuels a massive segment of the coin collecting world. To understand the potential value of your quarter, you need to look for the specters of the minting process. The first ghost to look for is a double die. This is an error where the die used to strike the coin is imprinted with a slightly doubled image. On the 2003 Arkansas quarter, collectors watch for noticeable doubling on the inscriptions, particularly on the word Liberty on the obverse. If you see a shadow or a ghost-like second image on the letters, you're not just seeing things, you might be looking at a coin that could fetch several $100s depending on the severity. But these errors, while exciting for a collector, are just the beginning. The true specters are a bit more dramatic. An off-center strike is another potential indication of value. This happens when the coin blank or planchet is misaligned during the striking process. The result is a design that is partially missing or shifted off the coin. A minor off-center strike might only be worth $10 to $50, but a drastic one with a visible date can push the value much higher. Then there is the missing clad layer. The 2003 Arkansas quarter is not a solid piece of silver. It is a sandwich of metals, 75% copper and 25% nickel. Sometimes the outer layer of copper-nickel is missing from one side of the coin. This error is highly visible and extremely rare. The exposed copper core takes on an orange or brownish tone, and the coin's weight will also be slightly off. If you find a quarter that looks like it has a brownish or orange spot that isn't dirt, you might be holding a coin worth hundreds of dollars. Let's be clear about the market reality. Not every error quarter will buy you a house. The values for many of these errors are well documented. For instance, standard circulated 2003 Arkansas quarters are worth only their face value, but pristine, high-grade examples do see a premium. A perfect MS-68 graded coin, for instance, has sold for around $188 to $470 in various auctions. The $799,000 figure you hear floating around is the absolute top end of the market, a perfect storm of condition, the rarest error, and a bidding frenzy. For example, a similar 1999 Georgia State quarter struck on a wrong planchet, a highly unusual error, has sold for up to $10,000, showing the kind of premium these specific mistakes can command. But it's the potential for that once-in-a-lifetime ghost error that makes you look twice. Here is the crucial part: the market is dynamic. The heat on the 2003 Arkansas quarter is generated by the tension between what is known and what is yet to be found. The U.S. Mint implemented stricter quality control measures in 2002, making major errors from the post-2002 era even more unlikely and therefore even more desired. Every time a new sale sets a new record, the urgency grows. So what should you do with this knowledge? It's time for an action plan. First, you must authenticate what you have. Do not try to clean your coin. Cleaning it will destroy the mint luster and virtually eliminate any collectible value. A collector wants a coin in its natural state, with all its original toning and imperfections. Second, if you believe you have found something significant, you must submit it for professional grading. Services like PCGS and NGC are the gold standard in numismatics. They will authenticate the coin, identify the specific error, and assign it a grade. A certified coin is a tangible asset with a verifiable pedigree, which is essential for maximizing its value at auction. Here is your takeaway. You now have the knowledge. You know what to look for. You can't unsee it. Every time you receive a quarter as change, you are not just receiving currency. You are receiving an opportunity. You are now a silent hunter in a vast landscape of pocket change. The spender versus collector mindset is a choice, and right now you have a choice to make. Don't be the person who spent a fortune on a pack of gum. And now for the final thought. If the 2003 Arkansas quarter with its unique errors represents the potential for hidden wealth, wait until you hear about another coin, an even more ghostly figure in the world of numismatics, that was recently sold for a staggering sum. It involves a dying mint worker, a deliberate sabotage, and a coin so rare it might as well be a myth. You won't want to miss what happens next. The hunt, it seems, has only just begun.